going on? It's Ash here coming at you today in Clash Royale. It is the return of the Broken Podcast, and I have some old friends joining me here. I have first KFC. Welcome to the channel.
Hey.
Hey, how you doing there, man? You ever gonna upload Clash Royale again or no?
I don't know, man.
Maybe.
Thinking about it.
Okay.
Just kidding. I'm trying. Never mind. It's out of my control.
Okay, so very strange like mystery surrounding why you're not uploading anymore, but the good news is I was able to get you on my channel. That was possible, so we have you here today. Very happy to have you. Next up we have my good friend NyteOwl. Night, how you doing, man?
I'm doing real good, but you did say old friends. Is that like referring to my age? Because
yeah,
because
KFC's the only young person. Yeah, KFC's the only young individual on, so you'll be referred to old NyteOwl. And
my grandpa NyteOwl. There you go.
And then we have Ancient Shane. Clash of Shane. What's up, Shane?
I'm doing pretty good, man. It's getting I'm getting pretty old over here, but
yeah, dude. How old's the kiddo now? Like 25?
Yeah. No, he's doing good.
Three?
He's almost 3 years old. He's
awesome,
doing pretty good.
Awesome. Well, I brought you guys on not just to chat about life, although I'm sure there'll be a lot of fun banter as well. We're here to talk about balance changes because I think it's been, what, 8 or 9 months? I think they come around every year and a half, right? So I think that we're halfway there.
Years.
So, I mean, I think we're on the same page here, right? That we want balance changes more often, right?
Yeah, yeah. I agree with that.
Easily, and it's a no-brainer.
KFC?
I reckon once every 5 years should be fine.
Yeah,
you know, whatever
years.
they want.
That's an improvement right there.
Patched. Where is this guy?
So my subscribers agree with us. I put a community tab poll, and I think around 80% of people, they all want them monthly as well. So we're here to speculate on the next round that is due to come sometime soon, we think.
This year?
Yeah, this year. At least in 2021. That's a guarantee. All right, so enough jokes, enough sarcasm. Jumping into it here. Shane, why don't you go first before you fall asleep, Grandpa?
He seems like the most credible one to start with.
Let's do this. All right. So the first card I want to buff is going to be the Executioner. I think Executioner's just been a dead card for I think it's been 2 years now since they did that whole craziness with 200% more damage to it a while ago. I just think Executioner is just way too weak right now, especially in a meta that's dominated by Royal Hogs and Fireball Bait and Swarm decks, and just Mother Witch is crazy with all the piggies that she spawns out. I think it'd be kind of cool, instead of nerfing the Mother Witch directly, what if we started buffing some of the counter cards towards her and just buffed the Executioner to make it a more of a viable response to the Mother Witch? So I would just reckon a slight damage increase or a slight attack speed increase for the Executioner. That'd be my buff number 1. And buff number 2 is going to be a buff to the Mini P.E.K.K.A. Just because we're in a meta right now that's been dominated by the Elite Barbarians. And I always think it's just more fun to buff a card or buff counter cards than it is to nerf cards directly. I personally think the Elite Barbs have been kind of refreshing for the meta in a sense. Going away from just being dominated by wall breaker cycle decks all day, every day, to now having Elite Barbarians being OP. But obviously E-Barbs are a bit stronger right now. But if we started buffing some of the counter cards for the E-Barbs, you'd probably see less Elite Barbarian usage rates and maybe start using some stuff like Mini P.E.K.K.A.s in certain decks instead of E-Barbs. So that'd be my two buffs right there. E-Barbs, Mini P.E.K.K.A. and the Executioner.
Buffy Barbs, what? Okay, so Mini P.E.K.K.A., Executioner buff. Did any of you, the rest of the expert panel here, do any of you guys have an issue with either of those buffs?
I object with the Mini P.E.K.K.A. I'd object with the Mini P.E.K.K.A. being a counter to E-Barbs because, first of all, E-Barbs versus Mini P.E.K.K.A., the E-Barbs will decimate it in 3 hits
currently.
or something.
But if you buff it...
Yeah, but it still doesn't have enough HP. There's 2 of the E-Barbs for 6 elixir, and there's 1 4 elixir Mini P.E.K.K.A. So the E-Barbs shred it on HP and damage. So I feel like buffing the Mini P.E.K.K.A. doesn't really either way make it a counter to E-Barbs, because it will still need probably, is it 2 or 3 shots per E-Barb? One of them anyway, but I think nerfing E-Barbs would be a better idea, which segues me on to... No, I'm joking.
Okay, so KFC disagrees with the Mini P.E.K.K.A. I'm kind of on the fence about Mini P.E.K.K.A. The little fella feels pretty strong to me. I mean, you buff him too much, he's practically a P.E.K.K.A., you know? But I don't know, I think he's a fun card to play, so I'm not against maybe a tiny buff to him. But is he gonna... Right. I think KFC brings up a good point. Is he gonna be the counter that we need to E-Barbs? You're still way better off with the Valkyrie, right?
Yeah, but the thing is, it's like it's a 4 elixir card versus a 6 elixir card, so you can't have the mini P.E.K.K.A just outright deny 100% of the E-barbs.
Agreed.
But the way it is currently, like the mini P.E.K.K.A will, I think it'll destroy one E-barb if it's left like unanswered, and then the other E-barb is at full health to your tower. So what if it got one shot on the second E-barb before dying? Like obviously the E-barbs will still be alive, not 100% counter to it, but just enough that like maybe you just use skeletons afterwards or something like that. Obviously, it's a 4 elixir card versus 6 elixir card, so it shouldn't counter it outright. But
I will point out one last thing, Shane, just because we like to play devil's advocate here on the channel. Lumberjack, what about Lumberjack? Because he's like right there with mini P.E.K.K.A in terms of his use rates and win rates. So
yeah, the thing with Lumberjack is like stupid balloon freeze decks, man.
Yeah, I know, right?
I don't want to see more balloon freeze decks. Those decks are annoying. So
I'm with you there. Yeah.
Yeah, I think like you just gotta think about like what the purpose of the card is. Like mini P.E.K.K.A is like a tank killer. I feel like Lumberjack, but it's more like for offense, with the balloon and stuff. So
yeah, but even the mini P.E.K.K.A like a tank killer, like Electro Giant's kind of like strong right now too, and like trying to use the mini P.E.K.K.A against the E Giant, like I don't know, man, it just dies so quickly.
Yeah.
Because the zap counterattack it needs a slight buff even against some of the tanks in the meta right now too.
Yeah, maybe. I just don't think mini P.E.K.K.A is the best counter to E-Giant, like, anyway, just because of the stun. It just gets there anyway. I don't know what you'd have to do.
Well, the mini P.E.K.K.A is good against, like, the Goblin Giant, the Giant, I guess, kind of against Elixir Golem. And against a Golem, like, you need more than a mini P.E.K.K.A. I don't feel good about a mini P.E.K.K.A in my arsenal when a Golem is dropped first play. I'm like, oh crap, So I hear you on that. So I think mini P.E.K.K.A could deal a little bit more damage.
KFC seemed to have a lot to say. What do you think?
He's calling you out next, I think. I think we all agree with Executioner.
Dude, no, I mean, honestly, I agree with the mini P.E.K.K.A. I think it can use a little bit of a buff, but Executioner, I don't think needs a buff. It's too big of a tank already, and it's really hard to kill. That's just me.
Ooh. Okay.
Just use a rocket, dude.
Who has rocket in their deck right now? I mean, you're talking like basically to have one specific card in your deck just to kill a card. There's no way that's going to happen, first off. And second off, I think that it is a really viable card already as it sits. Flash cards, I mean, Executioner, for example, is a really good card because it has so much HP and it is able to do the splash. I think it's in a perfect spot. Don't touch it.
Ooh, wow. KFC, be the
hot take over here.
Yeah, be the tiebreaker here.
So NyteOwl reckons Executioner doesn't deserve a buff.
Correct.
Yeah, right.
Correct.
I mean, the thing is, like, Executioner.
Why don't you message B-Rad and ask him what he thinks?
Whoa, what are you saying, man?
Nothing.
Are you trying to take away my credibility as a pro?
Nothing.
Oh my God.
You're the voice of the pro here.
Blatant disrespect on his own.
A little birdie told me that you might have asked him for some advice before the podcast.
I would never, ever.
Okay.
Nah,
Okay. All right. I stand corrected.
He asked me.
B-Rad asked you if you wanted his advice. Gotcha. He's unsolicited. Yeah. I got you.
I'm the best ever.
Okay, so what did B-Rad's? I mean, what do you say about Executioner?
No, I don't want to answer that anymore. After this is just too much disrespect. You know what? I'm not here for that.
All right, listen. Then I
can't take this.
I'm so sorry, Cassie. We love you. What do you think about Executioner?
Well, I think it does need a buff because it's pretty weak right now. So, I'm pretty with Shane on that one.
I love you, but I'm also gonna vote for a little buff to Executioner. I'm on board. I liked when the Executioner was ridiculously broken strong because it was only like that for like a week before they emergency nerfed it. And like when cards are like really strong to the sense that they're game breaking, I think it provides like a little fun little blip on the radar that we all can think back about. Like, remember when the witch could one-shot a lava hound?
Exactly.
I like
that. Okay, welcome back to the Tornado Executioner meta. Thanks a lot, guys.
Yep.
Dude, the Executioner was OP, man.
Stalemate Royale coming up.
At least it's, to Shane's point, at least it's a nice natural counter to the Mother Witch without having to nerf her,
Yeah.
I think that overall we're kind of lukewarm on your balance idea. So good job, Shane. That's a win here on the podcast.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. Shane, you call out the next victim. Who's going to go up next?
I already pulled out KFC. So
okay.
Okay, so like we said, E-Barb's nerf. I just like, even from my own personal experience, honestly, like you can tell.
I like how he said we, including B-Rad already in that. I like we, B-Rad and myself.
I mean, we as a community.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Okay.
Appreciate that.
So you
So-
think that E-bars?
Yeah, so I just think like E-barbs are too easy of a pressure and they just do like way too much damage. Like, I think it's just damage. Like, they need like a slight damage nerf because at the moment they can just do everything. They're like tank killers, like perfect pressure on offense. They can act as tanks for stuff. They're just really OP,
the E-barbs
in
is
my
kind of
opinion.
funny because when they buffed it, all they got was like a 0.1 second faster attack speed, right? Because they already undid the first attack speed buff, so it's literally just like a 0.1 second faster attack speed than it was previously. And they used to be one of the worst cards in the game. And so how is that like small change?
Well, they've kind of been like incrementing. I can't even say the word. Incrementally. Is that, yeah, that's the word. Like buffing it over time. So now it's just at this point where it's just a bit ridiculous. Maybe like a slight like tone back would be fair, I think.
So would you reckon like the just undoing the last buff, or would you just say like keep the attack speed the same but doing like a 5% damage nerf?
Didn't they already undo the last buff? I swear they did.
Undid
remember?
half the last buff. They undid half of it.
Ooh,
So.
yeah. Maybe like a quarter more off that. We want to keep them just like still viable but not OP.
Yeah.
Because I still think they'd be used, but don't take it all away.
Okay, I can get with that.
I agree with you. I like that they're strong and stuff, but man, they have a 22% use rate. Like,
Yeah,
that's
crazy.
insane. You know, to put that into perspective, there's only really one card in the game that's used anywhere close to that much, and it's
It's just
the...
spells, right?
No, believe it or not, it's the Mother Witch. In
She's OP
terms
too, though.
Yeah, I know. We'll talk about her in a minute. But yeah, you're right. Spell outside of spells, because like log is used the same amount. But yeah, so I agree with you, KFC. As much as it pains me, because I do think, again, going back to the point that we talked about earlier, I think it's been kind of fun, kind of refreshing to have elite barbarians being good, because even if you hate them, it shifts up the meta quite a bit. You know, you're seeing more Valkyrie, you're seeing more natural counters. People don't go into a match now without at least some sort of a game plan with what if they spam me with E-bars, because they're in a quarter of every deck, you know?
Yeah. And it's just been like a nice break, in my opinion, from like the wall breaker cycle of every battle like a month ago or whatever, right?
I agree. Knight, do you agree with this?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think they do need a little bit of a nerf. I think, though, at the same time, I'd like to keep them extremely strong. I think there was a stigma right when they came out with the buff to the E-barbs. Everybody thought they were OP, but I really think that was over-exaggerated just because they were a little bit shocking at the time.
Yeah.
And so I don't think also that a 23% use rate is necessarily a bad thing for the game. I think that's just a lot of people are having fun with a new card that's really strong, and they're using it a lot. So I think that's great, because once you compare the use rate to the win rate and all that stuff, they still have a pretty even win rate with everything else. It's not like it's an over-exaggerated win rate. People are just using it because it's super fun to use, and it's a super good card. So
yeah, it has killed cards like Mini P.E.K.K.A. and what's that other card? Prince. You know, not killed, but like they're way down in use rate compared to where they were. You know, like Prince is at 6% on ladder right now. I think he was close to 10 before that, but still, I think I'm in agreement, because it does feel like, to KSC's point, they have like undying utility. Like in every situation, you're like, oh, E-barbs, you know?
Yeah,
like,
and just does that. It just does everything for you. That's right.
Yeah. So maybe a little tiny haircut. Just don't go overboard.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Okay, KSC, what's your second one?
Furnace, and I used to play Furnace all the time, like back in the day. Basically, the era before Bomb Tower just became like the go-to building. I would play it in this little like I had this like balloon freeze deck I like pushed to top 200 with all the time, and Furnace was just like a reliable building that had enough HP. But now it just dies too quickly. I don't know. It just feels weak. And I feel like it's been weak for so long, and there's just so many other preferential buildings. Even for 4 Elixir, like you can play Goblin Cage or even Bomb Tower, and like there's even 4 Elixir cards that just decimate like Mother Witch and Hunter and all that. Like, why would you choose Furnace with how it is right now? Even in a meta where like Royal Hogs are good, you know, where the Fire Spirits come out, it's still not the choice you want. And I just think it needs like a little buff at least.
So how would you buff it? What would you do to it?
Probably more HP to be honest, just to make it more of like a reliable defensive building.
Yeah. Do you think it needs like a death spawn as well? Because all the other spawners
Wait,
have,
doesn't it? Doesn't it already?
It has no death spawn at all.
No death spawn.
Oh, well, there you go. Like, make it fair with the other buildings that have...
Because they did this change a while ago where they like added death spawn to all of the spawners, and then they nerfed their health. But then they just like forgot about the furnace and just like nerfed its health and didn't add the death spawn to it.
Like, exactly. Like, give it a death spawn, make it fair at least, and also give it a bit more HP so it can compete.
I don't know. I do appreciate the low-key flex, by the way, of like, oh, back in Muddy, I used to use the furnace every day and just like with my eyes closed, I push top 200 every day.
I don't really need to flex. Like, everyone kind of knows I'm the best. You know? I'm just kind of like reminding everyone.
Can you bring Dumbo on the channel sometime? We'll get the developer perspective.
Yeah, like he was telling me the other day that like you like cracked the leaderboards. You actually reached number 0. And so we had to like do a maintenance break, and it was this crazy big thing, you know?
Unbelievable.
That's crazy.
All right, so any truth to the rumor that you can't upload anymore because Supercell told you after that making fun of their developer Dumbo video? You're cut off. You're cut. Is Supercell banned you?
Bro. Yeah, Supercell were just like, all right, well, low-key, you're not allowed to upload anymore unless you make like I love Super. No, okay, I can't say this. I can't say this.
He can't get through it.
Yeah, then they said if you say this, you're really banned, and now you said it, so now you're really screwed. Darn it!
It's
all right.
over.
So listen, man, I agree with you. In terms of people who disappeared, just a quick like intermission here. I talked to Booferetti the other day, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. He said hi to everybody. He said hi.
How's he doing?
Yeah. He disappeared. He was a YouTube content creator. For those of you who don't know, he was on all of our Balanced podcast, Broken podcast as well. And he's doing well. He has a new baby girl. He moved. He's kind of a fresh start. He was sick of the internet trolls, you know? I made that part up, the last part, but he's doing really well, though.
Dude, we should get him back on like for like a guest appearance, like.
I think so too. I don't know if he plays anymore, but I think that'd be cool.
Yeah, just to have could be kind of cool.
So when you were pushing the top 10 every day, you think that you use Furnace, you want to use it again. You want to use it again.
Yeah.
Furnace is kind of like, I guess, Shane, you would probably know the most right now, but like, isn't Furnace like kind of, sort of semi-meta, like in spawner decks, or not really?
No, not really. It's just kind of like, whenever you see it, it's just like, oh, this should be an easy win. Unless you have like, if you're using a deck that doesn't have like a good spell on it, then you're like, oh, this is gonna be super annoying. But like, if you have even a fireball, it's just like, oh, it's a free value.
Because there was that Schwarzen deck that I really loved. He played it in CRL too. That was like the triple spawner, I guess, with Furnace, Goblin Hut, Elite Barbarians, Mother Witch, and there was no like Flying Machine. There was no win condition in it, but it was actually
we've seen a few of those decks like a month ago that were like doing well in the meta, but they kind of just all dropped out.
Yeah. Okay, so we all agree with the Furnace buff. Did you agree too, Knight?
Yeah, definitely. I don't, nothing wrong with that.
All right, good job. Good job,
KFC. That's a great.
You won. You won the video, KFC. You won.
Whoa,
you finally won something.
Vote for KFC in the poll.
But
we haven't even done your changes yet, Knight. I'm sure they're going to be amazing, or mine. So let's go. You want to go first? You want me to go first?
Yeah, I'll go. The sarcasm behind that comment was absolutely through the roof. I thought we said we were going to quit the sarcasm, but that's okay. Regardless, I'm going to go ahead. Okay, so I have a couple ones. I feel like I'm more of a man of the people. I think I represent the biggest player base here, in that I represent more of the casual player base, the player base that's trapped in the 4,000 trophy range. What are you talking about?
You always say that, but you're a good player, bro.
Way to rile like 80% of every person who plays the game behind you.
Yeah.
Okay. Now that you strategic in the way that I speak.
Yeah, this is the setup of a lifetime. Okay, so I have a couple cards here. So they're both nerfs, and I feel like they're well deserved. Now, let me explain. The first one, I feel like we need to nerf the Wizard. The second one, I feel like we need to nerf Mega Knight. Okay, now let me tell you why. I've been playing on my level 1 account, obviously every day, like nonstop, and the number one most used, most hated legendary that you go against as a pro level 1 player like myself is the Mega Knight, just because it's able to stop literally any push in its tracks. One of the first cards that you really start to use as a level 1 player is Witch or Skeleton Army, because those are able to stop most of things. But once you get up to the level where somebody's unlocked Mega Knight, you're basically dead in the water at that point, and it is 100% used against level 1 players. But not only that, as a level 4,000 player on my like level 10 level max account, it's my max level account at 4,000. Yeah, I'm at 4,000. Mega Knight and Wizard are seen in 100. I'm not even joking. 100% of the decks, and I don't think that Royale API is very representative of that being the case. And I did talk to the guys over at Royale API about this just a little bit. And he said that their statistics on their website are not even a large sample of the entire player base. They're only the players that have gone over there, basically entered some info, or you checked into the site, or the things that they're able to pull info from. But playing as a level 10 or where I'm at on ladder, low level, medium level, I think in the mix of where most people are, I see Wizard and Mega Knight 95% of the time. And I just think they're used way too much, more than's even represented over on Royale API. How would I nerf them? I don't know. Just nerf the crap out of them.
Wow. Yeah, man. I guess I'm gonna get 80% of the people mad at me because I think that Wizard is pretty weak. So like,
dude, Wizard's pretty weak, but you're playing on different levels. You're watching CRL. You're also playing a 6,000 trophies every day.
Bro, you shouldn't balance the game based on people who've been playing a week.
Yeah, it's like I don't know, man. It's just like here's my perspective. If you face Mega Knight and Wizard like 100% of your battles, just make a deck that counters the crap out of them every battle, and then once you get out of that range, just change your deck. Right? If you're facing 100% of the time, just like throw a lightning spell in your deck and P.E.K.K.A. lightning spell.
Yeah, P.E.K.K.A. lightning.
Kill the Mega Knight, kill the Wizard, and then just like once you're out of that range, just switch it.
Just make a deck specifically to counter certain cards.
Yep.
Well, if you're going against them all the time, but come on, man. Like Wizards, literally, I'm looking at the last 3 days on ladder, and the worst card in the entire game is
Elixir
Wizard.
Golem.
It's Wizard. It's Wizard.
Elixir Golem, which nobody talks about for some reason anymore.
Overall ladder, 3% use rate and 19% win rate.
No, but see, I can understand.
That's above Elixir. Elixir Golem's a 2% use rate. I was told I can't bring up the Elixir Golem in these anymore. These guys banned me from even mentioning the name.
You can bring up the Elixir if you want to change your answer because you're so mortified about the Wizard, and you would change.
No, I'm not mortified. I still think it needs nerfed into oblivion. It's overused.
All right, well, you know, my viewers, let Knight have it, guys. I mean, you're never easy on Knight, so don't use today as an exception.
I'm here for the entertainment.
Knight, just don't read the comments on this video. Do yourself a favor, you know, your mental health.
I never do anymore. Thank you.
Good boy. All right, so listen, that's so the Wizard nobody agrees with. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll take that deafening silence as a nobody agrees with me.
So what about Mega Knight? So Mega Knight, I think you are going to get some people agreeing with you in the comments on actually. It does have a pretty high use rate. It doesn't have a high win rate though, 43% overall. And I know I'm citing these stats, but like I don't think they mean everything. Like I think that, you know, not everything should be based just on win and use rate, but it is telling that you want to nerf a card with a pretty low win rate. So is it just because I agree, it does seem like there's a lot of Mega Knight going around. Shane or KFC, give your take on Mega Knight. Like, do either of you guys agree that it needs a nerf?
Not really. I just think, like, I don't know. I think a lot of players might misuse the Mega Knight because they expect it to be like this big, like, I think a lot of players kind of like try and build a push behind the Mega Knight and they don't use it defensively first. Especially like the mid ladder range, people try and like do like a slow push with Mega Knight because they feel like they break through, but it's like that's not the purpose of the card. It's meant to like defense shutdown and then counter push. So I feel like as you move up in trophies, you start to see players kind of like perfect the usage of the Mega Knight, which is why the use rate or the win rate's lower on mid ladder. But overall, I don't think it's like brokenly overpowered because like you look at the E-barbs and you can counter a Mega Knight with E-barbs and still have like both of your elite barbarians just like fine. It's crazy. And even things like, even if the E-barbs weren't meta, things like Knight and Valkyrie, like a 3 Elixir Knight can counter the Mega Knight for 3 Elixir. Yeah. Valkyrie's like, there's tons of counters for it.
I do have to say, I was looking at Grand Challenge, not ladder. My bad on those stats, guys. So it does have a high use rate, 17% use rate. So I don't know. KFC, what do you think?
First of all, for someone called NyteOwl to not like the Mega Knight seems a bit, you know, ironic.
Yeah.
But
what do they call that? What's the term for that? I mean, because it's obviously not racist or sexist. It's what is the term? Is it like I don't even know. What's the term for that? You know,
not like a Mega Knight.
Look, man, this is a Clash Royale podcast. All right, let me get
it's
back
called,
to
it's called night on night crime is the term.
Yeah, is that what it is?
Yeah. All right, so wow, I'm watching a replay and the guy gave the early GG and lost. Made TV Royale. All right, yeah. So, what do you think, KFC?
Yeah. So
besides it being,
I mean, a lot of a lot of what you said was like, oh, when I'm a level 1, I hate versing the Mega Knight. Mega Knight sucks as a level 1. It's like, we're not level 1s, you know?
Yeah.
I'm like 0 to like number 1 on ladder, so there's no real Mega Knights up there because it kind of sucks. So,
well, like I said, I just try to represent most of the people in Clash Royale. Not
how do you
you
So
and
what
your
you're saying,
family.
NyteOwl, is they should balance by mid ladder as well. Like not only just top ladder and grand challenges, they should balance based off mid ladder performance as well.
I think they should. I think as the arenas change, the balances of each card should change with it.
nah, but like Shane was saying, like people try and build a push with the Mega Knight, but they don't get like the value that you can get when it drops, and then use that to counter push. And like immediately, as soon as it drops, if it kills like a certain amount of elixir worth of units, it's already getting value, and then it just, it's already hard to defend, I guess, for lower level players. I don't think it needs a nerf. I mean, you just have like a mini P.E.K.K.A. or a Knight or even E-Bobs. Like there's so many cards counter it. It's 7 elixir.
What do you think, Ash? Did you give your opinion already?
I didn't give my opinion. I actually, I'm on the fence on this one. As much as I would like to disagree with NyteOwl, I think that first of all, I think he's good because he does counter a lot of the annoying cards in the game, a lot of the popular cards. Like think about if you nerf the Mega Knight, think about what it's going to be like with all, the Mother Witch type pushes, the Royal Hog decks everywhere. Elite Barbarians, he's good to drop on them, but they're also good to counter him on the opposite lane. So he's a good two-way card, I guess. But I think that if he had like a tiny enter the arena nerf to that damage, I wouldn't be like, super upset just because the use rates are really high on him. But, at the end of the day, it does get annoying when you go against a bunch of Mega Knight decks in a row. You're just like, oh, another Mega Knight deck? And I do feel like I see a lot of him in my trophy range, which is like, 5 to 6K. So, I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence, but I want to hear what the viewers think about that. Okay, I'm going to go, guys. I changed my answers during this conversation. I broke the cardinal rule of the Broken Podcast. I was going to go with the Mother Witch nerf, but you know what? What I was going to say is just make her hit a little bit slower on the curse, that way she can't just turn a Skarmy into an OP 15 elixir push. However, I think that she's good, and this is crazy to say, but I think she's good for the game. I think she keeps a lot of archetypes that were verging on being really powerful, like Swarmy and Graveyard at the time, 2 months ago, 3 months ago. I think she does a really good job of like really being a counterbalance to what might be a more annoying meta if she wasn't viable. So I like the Mother Witch. The thing that concerns me about the Mother Witch, and this is why it brings me into one of my cards, is that she totally murders, like kills some other cards. Like who plays Tombstone now? You go Tombstone and it's just like handing the Mother Witch unlimited hogs, and the other, but Tombstone's not one of my cards. It's actually the Witch deserves, in my opinion, a rather big buff, right? Because what is the Witch good for right now? She's not good for anything. If you have a tank coming down your lane and you have a 5 elixir Witch in your hand, you're screwed, especially against like an Electro Giant or something. If you have Swarm coming down the lane, Witch doesn't fire fast enough to take care of the Swarm efficiently. If you're going against Mother Witch, who's like really, really popular right now, you're screwed with the Witch because all the skeletons are going to be turned into something that she can barely even kill on the counter push. So with all that said, I want to see Witch really, really good. I just want to add quite a bit more DPS to her actual attack, Going back to where she was, I don't know, 2 years ago when Rumham turned her into like an absolute beast for 1 month. I don't want to see her right there, but I want to see her close to that level. So that's my nerf. I mean, that's my buff.
Okay.
What do you guys think?
I can get with that. I think the Witch is like, she's been basically a dead card for like a year and a half now. So I agree with that. She's like super dead. Whenever you see a Witch deck, you're like, oh, this is a free win.
Yeah, you're like, what is this noob doing playing Witch? Right?
Exactly. Although I will say, like, I've been caught off guard a few times with like a Witch rage deck, and it's just like all of a sudden there's like a million skeletons spawning out. And I'm like, I don't have like a fireball in my deck or something like that. Like I don't have like a heavy spell in my deck, and I'm like, okay, well that's GG. But for the most part, like whenever you see it, it's just like, okay, this is a free win. Especially with the Mother Witch, it's just like you can just have as many witches as you want. I'm just gonna get more piggies. So
yeah. What do you? Anybody disagree? KFC or Knight?
No, I
agree 100%.
Yeah, like I agree because like Wizard's more of like a big splash card where it's doing a lot of splash damage, a lot of like area splash, and sure, Witch does, but I feel like that like small, I don't know, that small purple spell or whatever she casts definitely should just do more damage. Like I agree that is like one of the things that should be more useful rather than like more splash. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So I win the video. There we go.
You win.
Second place.
I got everybody to agree. I picked the least popular card. So, all right. So my other card is I'm really against how they killed the giant skeleton, man. Who plays giant skeleton anymore? You know,
rest in peace for giant skeleton, dude. He's dead.
Pretty bad. I don't know what the perfect fix for Giant Skeleton is. I know that they said basically since the beginning of Clash Royale time that if they make him too strong, he'll be game-breaking and very annoying because he's so defensive-based and shuts down everything like that. But at the same time, like, I don't know, this is kind of a crazy idea. But what if he kind of like, parental advisory warning, what if he pooped out bombs as he walked? What if he just dropped bombs periodically on his stroll as well? Would that make him more of an interesting card? At least it'd make him very unique. There's nothing like that in the game. I guess he already is unique though, but like, you know, is it as simple as just buffing his DPS again, guys? Or buffing his, or I should say, not again, but you know what I'm saying? Or reverting back to making that bomb really carry a really heavy punch. What do you guys think?
I think, like, I don't know. I like your idea of dropping bombs periodically, but I feel like that'd be kind of cool for like a new card instead of just like changing the giant skeleton.
Okay.
But
what if he spawned? What if he spawned bombers?
When he died, that'd be cool, dude. Or what if he had like bombers on his back instead of a giant bomb?
A bomber on his back, like a goblin giant.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Kind of cool. I don't know.
That'd be kind of OP. You'd have to have a raise in elixir cost then.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. I think it's
damage.
I get the point with that giant bomb being like super high damage and being super frustrating to face and like just dropping a giant skeleton and destroy your entire push. So I get why they nerfed that. In terms of how to fix it, I don't know what the right answer here is. More health and more damage is what I would suggest for now, because right now he just does nothing. He doesn't do anything. So
yeah, like imagine making him 8 elixir, and then you have that bomber on the back, and you can like build up from the back, and he becomes this actual like threat. You know, he drops this giant bomb, and he's also got the little bomber on his back.
Yeah,
cool.
Because the bomber on his back would be have such great synergy. You're right. You'd have to definitely bring the cost up because it would be so strong. But think about it, because he's not building targeting, everybody uses skeletons and ice spirit and goblins to counter him. But if you had the bomber on the back, forget about it. You're gonna have to have a building or a fisherman or something like that. You know, so I love that because it takes away his biggest weakness is that he's not building targeting. You know.
What if they, this crazy idea here, but what if they changed it to a win condition? Because it is a giant, right? All the other giants are like... I
don't know. Like, I feel like that makes him too OP with the bomb. Like, I feel like it's more like cool the strategy of trying to get him to the tower with the splash damage on the back. I think it's OP if he just like goes towards the tower and everything just gets splashed at the same time and he drops a bomb.
Well, don't do the bomber thing. Just make him like keep him as he is right now, but just do like a win condition, targets buildings only. And if he's too OP, then you just nerf the giant bomb a bit more. But I don't know, he's a giant, dude.
Because if you do that, Shane, like, I agree with you, but like if you do that, it also takes away some of his versatility because he's not as good on the defensive end to just NATO everything into his death, you know, because he'll just go towards the tower, you know.
Yeah, it's more fun, just like.
I was just like, cool. I think a random idea of like, I don't know, all the other giants target buildings, make him target buildings. It is like,
it is kind of counterintuitive, but yeah. Knight, do you agree with this?
I mean, obviously, yeah, I think you guys are saying some good things. I think what was mentioned before that would help the best is just kind of a halfway point. Usually when the team like over nerfs something and they see that the use rates drop so much, why not just cut it back halfway or just, you know, somewhere in the middle, get it back into gameplay and see how it reacts to that situation rather than try to change too many different mechanisms or anything else. Because obviously I think the giant skeleton was working quite a bit before, which is why they had to nerf him. So rather than just hit the whole shebang with him, just pull it back a little bit. I think that would be best.
I can see that because like the giant bomb used to kill everything and now it kills nothing. What if it killed a few more, kill a few more units than it does right now, but not everything like it did before?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I like the idea of, I want to put a little thing on every giant's back. I want to have, put the spirit goblins on the regular giant. And I want a dark goblin on the goblin giant.
Yeah, dude.
That would be crazy.
All right, guys. Well, that concludes this video. Broken, any final thoughts from any of you guys? Notably, nobody said nerf the Mother Witch because I didn't say it. So it sounds like we're all in favor of buffing counters versus nerfing a legendary that, you know, a lot of people probably worked hard to max.
Yeah, buffing stuff as a counter to other stuff is way cooler than just like every balances. It's like nerfs and nerfs and nerfs. Like,
even as like a player, like as a player, I get more excited for like when there's a big buff to like go try out the new card than like if you get a big nerf and it's like your deck. It's just like this terrible feeling. Whereas if they buff cards, it just feels way funner than nerfing stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And you also don't feel like you said, it also doesn't feel like your deck just took a huge blow if the cards in it got nerfed.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, that's going to do it for the video. It's been a pleasure having you three back on the channel. Always fun. And I wish we should do this more often. So I'm going to really throw it to my viewers here. Help us out. Give us some really fun topics to talk about. Something like, you know, a little polarizing. Give us something really juicy to talk about here. And maybe we'll bring it back on a more regular basis. So, guys, thanks so much for coming on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'll see you again in 5 months.
Okay, the pleasure is
every balance.
Every balance.
See you in 5 years.
5 years.
Okay. Let's not be too pessimistic, fellas.
Okay, sorry.
All right, guys.
I'll see you in a week.
Check out all the social media and the YouTube channels of all of my amazing guests here in the show notes below, guys. Give us your thoughts on balance changes. What is the #1 card that you want to see buffed and the #1 card that you want to see nerfed? Let us know in the comments below. Big shout out to GFUEL, where you get 30% off for only 2 more days if you use code ASH. The link will be in the show notes below. And of course, to Stutts, Royale, and the Bren Chong, my YouTube partners. Check out their information as well. And as always, take care, guys.